Our timelines have led us to this interaction, this alignment of intersecting observations of the universe. So I've been aware of my timeline, or at least observing it. Highest Timeline Productions. Find them in the link tree in the bio. Your friend Eddie O. We'll be talking about the ideas of frequency, vibration, color, sound, music, and light. Yes, light. Light is definitely a vibration. They come in different forms, but I believe they're all just different manifestations, different realizations, different incarnations, incantations, different types of instant breakfast, different flavors, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and then they have the malt chocolate carnation instant breakfast. You're going to love it in an instant. It's good to shake those up really well. So we'll see all kinds of ideas through sacred geometry, representations, charts, artwork itself. Nature definitely composes these same patterns that we always see. We always find patterns, alignments, templates. A lot of these follow certain connections, certain connectivities that seem to line up with each other through visual representations, audio representations, which are all just tuning us in to our feelings, right? We know that music and chords and songs can change our mood, alter our mood, or at least transpose the idea of a mood. That's a sad song. What a happy song. Different implications, movements of the song. The song can have parts like a story. There's the breakdown in the long song. It's the sad breakdown part where the hero's on his journey. It's where Slash would do a solo while standing on top of a whale, maybe. Everything is a symphony. That's right, Arya. If we can write with words and paragraphs and stories and books, we certainly could take a note. It could be a letter. A word could be a chord. The story could be a melody, and altogether. You know, a lot of movies themselves have songs for the different characters. The themes. When the hero would have his music, it would have an emotion connected to it. Yes, I believe some of it is because it's associated with that type of thing. So cowboys and Indians, perhaps, I would say a good representation, that would be nationalism, right? Your country's music, you've heard the national anthem, so you associate that. Or marching bands, what else do you associate that with also, though, is funerals, parades, small symphony, orchestra, class. I don't hear many people talking about classical music these days. I don't know what the kids are listening to, but I studied music in college and minored in music, studied music theory. Johann Sebastian Bach, the well-tempered clavier, and the integration and the study of the language of music is certainly representative within itself. It's its own formula, but it is the overall same universal formula of life itself. I believe the pattern, the phi, the golden ratio, Fibonacci, the golden spiral, not to be, though often commonly confused with pi. It is not pi. Pi is a constant, whereas Fibonacci will grow and spiral to a state of 13. 13 would be the octave if we have 12 notes in music. The octave if we have 12 notes in music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. The chromatic scale. We get to the 13th note, which is the original starting note. The 13, not 12. We've often been told 12, not 13. But I believe 13 is the next floor. If it was a spiral staircase, instead of walking in circles, you ascend to the new story, a next story, the new floor. Numbers represented all through our spirituality. Representations of higher energies, plasmas, and on a further level, I'm sure, not that I have quite experience, but magic, I believe, on a non-documented level, has been integrated with the symbols and combinations, the codes, the songs, so to say. King David, first king of that very popular town, Jerusalem, although at first it was named Town of David. David's father, Saul, was the first king of the earth, and King David had a harp, right? He knew the secret chord to please the Lord. His son, Solomon, David's son, Solomon, also king of Jerusalem, at that time, way back in the Wayback Days, the Wayback Machine, Solomon had the Solomon's Ring, which I think is not a play on words more than some kind of vibrational tool. And he had the keys of Solomon. Solomon had the keys of Solomon, and they were the sigils of the lesser fallen Gautier, right, the band, but they were trapped, and they could be released. And the sigil, the markings of these characters in a book, right, the lesser, could be summoned and then put back in a jar, and like the top of the jar would have the logo on it, which would be a sigil, which is lines and dots, circles. A lot of two-dimensional shapes will represent three-dimensional things, like our Merkaba or our Metatron's cube. This, yes, is a two-dimensional drawing representing every platonic solid that exists. And it goes through these stages from a point to a line to a tetrahedron, which is a three-sided pyramid, then a cube, and they're all represented within this one shape. That's a little overly complex for that shape, but you know what I'm saying. Just the Star of David, right? So I wasn't even trying to make that connection, but Source has my back. I am definitely divinely guided. I imagine what I used to say when I was drunk, probably all kinds of wisdom. Music, oh boy, musical class. Remember when you were a kid, they still have music in school? If you're younger, you don't have music in your middle school, or your kids don't have a music program, get one going. I used to work in the city in a music store. And there was a gentleman from a different generation, and he always was hanging down at the park. I would work downtown in the music store. He's like, yeah, give me some drumsticks. I'm like, what's up, Leo? He's like, yeah, give me some drumsticks. I'm like, you got it, bro. I'd slip him a bunch of drumsticks. He used to go down to the park and do drum corps marine on the benches. And he was good, man. He could do the high flip stick, and he was old. He was old hat, man. He like still had it, but you know the vibe I'm giving. But he was trying to get these kids to do it because it changed his life. He's like, yeah, if I could just give them that experience. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he transformed some lives. It was a cool gift. Music is a great gift. And if you're studied and you like nerdy things, you can also study the math or the science or the theory of music. Musical theory fits within itself. It's not random at all. It's math, I think of with, well, not math, more like geometry with numbers. 1 through 7 on a regular scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And 8, the oct, is the same as the do, except it's half the wavelength. Our wavelength is represented here. And when things are in harmony, they will fit in within each other. They'll be visually, the representation of them is visually pleasing. If you guys could take a moment and up the algorithm and the flow. New way to share too. If you could, you can click on my bio right now up in the top left. I won't ask you to share, but I'll ask you to do this favor. Click on my bio where it shows my videos. Click on the video that's I made right before this live started. It says I'm live right now, and go repost that video. And it'll get out there, so some new people, some new kids to teach drum corps skills to. Get those kids off the street. Half of the full length of a wavelength, half of it, would be exactly an octave. Right? And then you have harmonics and math within it. It's not exactly perfect when you look at the music, because it's represented when music communicates to itself. It uses different ratios and combinations of 1 through 7. A chord can be 2 individual notes, but a chord is generally 3 notes combined. So, for example, this is the C major chord, which is Earth's chord, which are 3 chords. We have here C, E, and a G. Da, hello, hello, hello. Those 3 chords, right? But you can communicate now with that word, that C major chord, you can communicate to another word, right? So you could go to a dominant chord, and generally go to the G and F, and generally go to the G and F are the major. We're not doing a music theory lesson today, but just go to another chord. And that's, the idea. If you kind of thought that feeling, I don't know, about baby talking or communicating, that's kind of a little sentence. It's a communicative narrative. And does music have just some stuff that sounds scary by nature? It's dissonance and non-harmonious or non-evenly spaced notes. Tension tends to cause tension. Bands like Tool will kind of hold that edge. So there's a tenseness to the feeling, which wants you to naturally lead to resolution, which are words or notes or spellings of the chords, the way you would spell the chord. Yeah, now things are starting to look a little different, but we can recognize a pattern that this is still following, just like the vibratory rate of nature or light and frequency. This is the golden mean, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, the golden spiral formed inside this rectangle that we see the design. Forget the letters for now. Just look at the box. That's another rectangle and a bigger rectangle. If you know the pattern, and then it starts and it makes a spiral going outward, like a staircase. Again, not to be confused with pi, pi. That is not it. I hear that often. So when we have a staircase going, or a cycle of a circle, going round and round, outside and getting larger, like the golden ratio, the golden spiral. It's called, I think, first and it's called the golden it's called the golden rectangle. It's a spiral that keeps getting bigger, but it's also, what it is a rectangle, and then you draw a line in the middle of the rectangle, then you turn it, and then you draw a line in the middle of that rectangle, you turn it. These are kind of 2 ratios that meet into a point. Golden phi, seen in Da Vinci, his artwork. That is the Vitruvian Man. And it goes to show how mankind, us, an extension of life force, we are also built on that ratio, on that growth pattern overall. It's how we do. We are no exception. This ratio shows up in different ways, different representations. When you're looking out distance, you're looking across a vast distance, things get smaller, right? A vanishing point. So perspective is definitely where it's at. If you're looking down, right, and you're on the top of this apple, your little microbe. It's even got the world tree in the middle, right, that the leaf on it. Apples and black holes in the shape of a torus, figure 5.2. From apples to black holes, the shape of a torus is a recurring pattern in creation in nature. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about. And now do different representations or different frequencies and combinations of them create solids. They say that everything, even solid matter, solids, knock on stuff itself, really frequencied out. So from the top here, if you're standing on top, there's a picture on the right, you're on top of the apple, little microbe. It's like, whoa, we're going down there. Whoa, you look down, whoa. Yet, if we're in the center of this apple, or at the bottom of this pit, we think it's the bottom, but there's no bottom, right? So if you're there, where the seeds are, those are the apple's productive organs. That's right, the apples play game. Game respects game. And you're looking up, you're like, whoa, that's forever up there, right? And it would look infinitely going forever, because I guess it does. The pattern does, but it grows back within itself, but our field can be infinite. Sadness when you got a little torus field. I think it should at least be as big as your body, down to your butt, over your neck. Put it on like a coat. Make sure you're wearing your torus field. Take care of that thing. Visualization is a great tool. I picture a giant apple, boy in the bubble around you, extending, 3 to 5 feet. Try to picture the belts around it, like the colors of those chakras. Right? So we can directly connect, not assume, but frequencies of a note, the pitch, the tuning, the hertz level measured in hertz, will be a color as well. They didn't pick them at random. They resonate at that level. I couldn't get into that, but guess what? We have to start assumingly 7 main chakras and 7 solfeggio frequencies. And those colors down from the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, can be moved up in stages. If we take any of these examples of these solfeggio frequencies from the Italian word solfeggio, and you get the root of it, get the digital root of 369, and that's what you do on the long drive with your parents when you're a kid. You add up all the numbers on the license plate and you get one number left. Down in the comments, as I take a deep breath. That's right, Aria. Hey, Aria, maybe you could work on a video. I have an idea that I had an imagination moment, a vision, breathing in for 7 and breathing out for 7, and you could make it better. I'll take like a street light, or at least lights that light up, like breathing in from the bottom, from red. It would be like red, orange, gold, green, blue, purple, white, purple, blue, green, gold, yellow, red, I'd say the colors. Let's try it from the bottom. What do we get? Red for the sake. Well, these are upside down, not helping. But are they upside down? We always think from down up, but up down, as we're seeing in this pattern of this live here on EdTalk. Thank me if you could tap, get the auto clicker app tap. I'll go to, don't make me make fake, I appreciate it. And some shares would be great as well. So all of these, 3, 6, 9. 3 plus 9 is 12. 1, 2 adds up to 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. Now 4, 17. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12, which adds up to 3. 5, 28. 7 plus 8, 15, which is 6. 6, 39. 9 and 9 is 9 always. 9's a 9. Just get those 9s. That aether. That's that number 9. 7, 4, 1. 11 and 1 is 3. 8, 5, 2. 13 is 4. 2, 6. And again, we see this. So they all add up to 9, 3, or 6. Every time, all those. And they will never be 1, 2. Well, if we follow 1 to the next number, it goes to 5, right? 1, 5, 7, 8, 4, 2, 1. And we'll come back to that. I'm going to attempt to explain vortex math in a little while with a pen and a piece of paper and the camera, and do a example. And it helped me understand vortex math very much so. So these frequencies talk to each other as well. One affects the other. Cymatics is the study of visible effects on water with frequency. And we see shapes emerge due to different frequencies, and lo and behold, they make a shape. When tuned in and balanced at this specific frequency, the solfeggio frequencies, it has to be very dialed in. But luckily, with an ear and training and pitchforks, I have a 528 pitchfork I carry around all the time. Hit myself with it, take some breaths. Just go to my heart space, just whatever the situation is, start from heart space. And a lot of work that I've done to myself comes into play. As soon as I start from my heart space, other mechanisms kick in, and I can reintegrate at my highest timeline and realize simulation of life is a pattern. So if we recognize this pattern, then we can walk through life a lot easier. This is a studied guide, not just for neato bedito, not because but I tell you, these language models, because communication and observation is everything. And the higher level you can communicate to yourself, the more you will be something wrong. So connections, combinations of representations of frequency or different levels of vibrations. And if we look at it, these are all shaped like this in our realm. Where we are, I used to say, I guess I still do, but music would sound different if we were on a different planet. Like when I was in music in school, I studied the trombone, played the trombone since 4th grade through college. I sang in chorus and chorales and through middle school and through college. Studied theory, been in many bands, play all kinds of instruments and stuff. In music theory, it would sound different. It'd have to have a different atmosphere, different size, different size thread. So yeah, that makes sense. But here, it sounds one way, and there's a certain thing that fits in our world, and there's certain things that don't. As far as our environmental vibration, the resonance factor of this environment, play a note, it's going to sound different on my right. You get what I'm saying. I get what I'm saying. Do I? See, if I could have spoken better and clearer, I would have communicated better. So let's just look at that the other way around, is my point that I'm trying to get to, which I will do now. If you can look at the pattern of growth and how the universe works, it's the same as the environment we're in. Every animal, every flower, every fingernail, every tree, everything, every frequency, is that translatable? It crosses all platforms. I wouldn't say that's fractal, but it is fractal because these representations move fractally, but they also move side by side via color, sound, light. So these different frequencies and vibrations get us in tune with our environment. And if this environment were outside, we can play something outside of us, it will affect us in the same way it would affect everything, because everything is that ratio of that frequency, of that pattern, that golden ratio. We are that as well. So the study of cymatics is a representation of water being affected by sound and vibration, by a frequency, and it comes into these shapes, which are sacred religious shapes a lot of the times, or magic shapes. Okay? So this vibration will change the shape that comes to the surface of these petri dish, basically a small petri dish, some water, So a little coffee in it, or a little food coloring. And they do shine lights on it. These lights don't just come out of the frequency. No, that's not how water works, I don't think. This is not iridescence. They just do it to make it stand. So you change the tone of the color. But the notes, once it hits and it balances itself out, it holds this shape. Okay, so we're, 80% water? We're basically cucumbers with anxiety. So if we play these frequencies around us, all of a sudden this makes a lot more sense. If we have an icosahedron shape and all of our water or matter cells are on that plan, if they would have an advantage communicating to each other, opening up the meaning of the word communicate a little broader, not through words or a song, but that relationship, cell to cell, organically bio, spiritual bio, it would affect us on a small molecular scale, cellular level, as it would affect the water. And could we use recipes, change feelings, change emotions, and emotions, because we feel how we feel. So you could diagnose, right? So this earth we live on, this dome, this enclosed system, has a resonant frequency that works with it. It's going outside, some guy singing, la la, what sounds the best? 432 hertz is where it's at. So, because we'll add up 4, 3, and 2, right? Adds up to 9. There we go. Adds up to 9, 432. That's the A. One thing happened, though. It got changed. So if you can look at the shape of the cymatic representation of 432 hertz, which adds up to 9, it creates an image which looks balanced, symmetrical, attractive, organic. It looks like it's almost looking back at you, observing you as you observe it. And then we'll look at, in comparison, the 440 tuning. Looks like bland, almost, it looks flat. A record that hasn't been pressed. It looks artificial. And those two resonances, worldwide, were the major general standard tuning for orchestras, modern composition of music, using the 12-tone chromatic. It got changed. One last symphony stood strong, and it was France. They said, we will not tune our instruments to 440 hertz. We will stay at 430. We'll stay at 432. Like, when you got to think, this happened at a time. It was the rockin', which doesn't have too much. They're not really rock and rollers. Those fellas, those Rockefellers, that family was, the push behind changing the tuning. Maybe that's why they really pushed to have things, removed out of society, like these bells. Maybe these bells were removed not for ammo and munitions in World War II, which was the reason, of course. Maybe they were removed for a different reason. Just like they changed the frequency. I say, the orchestras, a lot of money went into orchestras back in, I think it was the 1600s maybe, or 17, I'm not sure the year. I could look it up, but you can too. Someone in the comments wants to hit the year that the tuning was changed universally around the world. Now, when I heard this, I was like, that's mean. They changed the love frequency. I was into conspiracies. I was pissed about that one. But I digress. We can change our own frequency, that's for sure, Doctor. Ways to change our frequency. Examples, breathing, I would say. Right now, just be conscious and observing this level of observation. Call it mindfulness, call it whatever you do. It's, I wasn't doing this until you said something too, so reminding our friends in a nice way. Check my posture, breathing. That can set my vibrational back. And then, I'll go into the 3 parts: your spirit, mind, physical. I'll start with the physical. Check my posture. Do a couple breathing exercises. Make sure the check engine's running good. Okay, normal. Good. Yay. Woo. Maybe affirmations. I am healthy. I am happy. I am so very grateful for so many things. I'm integrated on my highest timeline. I'm divinely led. I'm divinely guided. I'm eternally loved. I'm happy. Heart space. Go to my heart space and come from there. Feelings, man. And that's the spiritual, be the feelings. Oh, man. You got to feel feelings. The integration of analyzing your own feelings. Got to look. That's a dance with the self you need to take your own journey on. Do what makes you happy. Follow your passions. Follow that excitement. Encourage yourself. Help somebody else. Service, God. You can service others, individuals. Service outside, service the earth. Service the world, Well, yourself. Bam, bang, bang. Help yourself. Do better for yourself. You feel better after you do something. Every time. Wavelengths and frequency and vibrations, we'll get a little more scientific in the laboratory. What can be done with frequency and vibration? It can make me feel good. It's gonna make you feel bad. It ain't noise pollution. It's only rock and roll. We have frequency, in light. And it can be, talk about subconscious. Spiritual diet, I've been calling it, I guess, for a little while now, and what my spiritual diet entails of, and some things you can control, some things you can't. The power of earbuds, I guess. When you have a job and you work with others, all of a sudden, it's like you're on a dance floor of energy often. I don't recommend cubicles. I enjoy people's company for the most part, but what affects you, and you can observe, you recognize a pattern, and it creates a feeling. Does the engagement of the environment create the emotion, or does the emotion change the environment, right? So if it's something you feel that you were mindful and it's something integrated to your situation, what are you thinking of right now? Are you thinking of your dog, someone that you're just all set with? What would you do? With your mom? Is it your dad? Is it a family member? Someone who lives with you? Someone at work? Like government? Is it a politician? And to not like something, that doesn't feel good. Okay, so if you did take it to use your cognition and think, why? You're not going to come up with any good answers. You're going to be like, well, that's shallow. When you're mindful enough to look at your reasons, you run out of reasons for the way you feel. It's like, why do I feel like this? And that's the first step when you get away from, I feel like this because of her or him or them or these people or my life, my fucking situation, my hand in the deal. That's what I feel. That's why I feel this way. No, it isn't Ed. No, it isn't us. Of course not. So now I would look inside, look at myself. Well, I feel this way because of me. And you know what? It's not that either. But you have to get through those 2 stages. And behind door number 3 is letting the feelings be felt without looking at, observing, harshly observing, and really feeling them, but not thinking about them. It's a state of meditation is a good place to do such. Sometimes it's hard to do so or get in a calm state or in a better vibratory state, energy-wise, because something's happening. You see people's vibration change when something bad happens. A mother lifts up a car off a child, or, me and my friends here, everyone in the chat, we go through into a different dimension, and we're warriors all of a sudden, and Arya is leading us. The sword is on fire, and shoot, it's a crazy time. We're going to kick butt because we're, a different vibration. Chemicals change our vibration. We know this. DMT out of our body, the endocrine system, it's a chemical factory inside of us. And the things we do cause the chemical factory to work. And if we allow it to just be a trauma-based response chemical factory, and we are letting that decide which pumps are running and which pumps are not running, what recipe are we getting? And then if we do that, whose will are we at the receiving communication for the chemical receptors in our brain to create different chemicals and make us horny or angry or sad or happy or feel good? That's all right. I agree, America. Good on you. Part of a team. How do you feel? Oh, I have hope. But anyways, they can give you a translation, not a translation, but you're getting a chemical kick out, right? So if you watch a certain thing, or somehow, even if you're not, I don't know, every situation is like that. But to be observant, and you can't like look at the pumps, right? You can't be like, okay, this is serotonin, don't we make a list? Well, we probably should. Nothing's as deep as it seems. Anyways, getting way into it. Feels pretty good. Good company, guys. I do appreciate being here. See a couple hearts in the corner. If you could tap it away, get it up to good number, help that algorithm grow. Please do me a favor and follow me on YouTube. My goal is to get 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just same as a follow. You don't have to pay on YouTube. You never have to watch a video. You can shut the notifications on 0. But if you would go, Eddie O Knows on YouTube. Same branding as my picture here, which I'd like to thank a friend from Hawaii for her generation of that logo. I've had that logo for quite a long time, before I started using AI at all. So what can we do? Our frequencies traveling in our brain, everything is the same. So our brain is also an enclosed system. Tinfoil hats, frequency, radio frequencies, microwaves, right? They are out there. We know this is true. Although, I don't think people go way out of their way to stop it in general. We trust our manufacturers for the most part. We trust our food companies, no matter how many examples or how many Dateline episodes of cornflakes. Look out. We trust the people that come fix things for us. That's why we are able to sue people, I guess. I don't know how that really goes down, but it is something we do, which should be a good thing. But the more you recognize patterns, it's a red flag. So our wires in our houses are 240 and 120, which does add up to 9, but I'm sure it's for a reason. I'm sure it's all for a reason. I think it's pretty effective. You see med beds, which are frequencies. It's all about frequency. I don't know, Arya. That's a good question. It gives me a feeling. To explain feelings, does it enhance it? A great poet can enhance a situation, right? The movie Contact. They should have sent a poet. Beautiful words. I'm sure most of us here have seen clips of pieces of metal in a simple experiment, not too hard to do, right? I was using pieces of dirt, sand, often using a violin bow, right? A bow. Wow. You know? And then it would make this shape. First time I saw this, I think, wow. Wow. Like, that is so cool. I have little home experiments I do. Most definitely. I try cymatics, frequency speakers, and magnets, and I wish I had a laboratory. So the environment creates the shape. The shape can also create the environment. The universal integration is all the same thing. It's one big song. Are we singing along? Can we improve the song? Probably. What's wrong with the song? Maybe that's why I've studied music my whole life. What could change the vibration? Maybe church, right? When you see a church inside the structure itself, they often say this is built on sacred geometry. It's like, I don't see any triangles or I don't see any cool designs, but it's still based on sacred geometry, right? Because it just goes, it holds itself, right? It stands for itself. Just like me, I stand for myself. Thank you to my sponsors there. Just messaged me. Its ratio is itself. That's like a whole new level as within, without, above, below. The small is the same as the big. Big's the same as the small. What do you call that? Fractal? Is that even fractal? Is that a different language? What do you think, guys? Half of a half is still a half. And twice as much is the same as a half. Wait till we get going. So we created, I say again, we as in the same way I refer to somebody else. Here I am, happily. Hey, Nacho Danny, good to see you down there. Thanks for joining. Hit a couple likes, shares. Don't forget to follow me. I certainly appreciate it. It does help. We have a lot of information about crystals. One of my best friends has taught me a lot about crystals, and they're around. They are around. Are they overlooked? Are they because the environment right now, the energy levels in this Earth environment are in the short season, and the energy is within? It's not like the buildings, the environment, the churches are all, I believe, like a machine. Like, right? It's a machine. And built upon this formula, the golden ratio, the 5 formula, high five, it creates an environment. But they're not really on. Once in a while we'll see a clip. It's like, oh, look at the top of that one, Poland. It's not as simple as plugging it in, right? So I think the world power, like the power's off here. Like the environment doesn't allow it even to work, or some of them would be working. And my research has not seen any pictures of I'm picturing the Frankenstein switch, right? But there's no on-off building for these. They would just resonate. I wonder if they also projected a color of how they would resonate, right? When we visualize, this is as far as I go. Eddie O, looking for the shortcut. Get me to the next level. Get me to the next level. Let's hit that other octave. Let's go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's why I like heavy, fast music, man. I broke a string on my guitar. I've been playing a lot of guitar the last couple of years, and it was due to break. So luckily I have a ukulele here. I bought it for my son when he was like 10, maybe 15, 13 or something. But it's still the communication of 3 notes and chords in the songs. I do teach music. Anybody who wants or knows somebody who needs guitar lessons or ukulele lessons, I do give lessons. All lessons are free for the time being. I'm running a special. Nah, that's not a joke. I will give free lessons for right now. I'm building up my base, and so I want to get some students and do a rapport. So if anyone's interested in 3 lessons, 3 half-an-hour lessons, 3 25-minute lessons, I don't know how long you last, but video, absolutely. I want to make a series and stuff like that, so I can do that. How can this affect us on our whole body, our skin, or on little things? Our pineal glands, I guess is something I would like to help. We have 33 pieces of our spine, right? I wonder if there's 33 notes in there. Like if we could put a harmony, if we could put on, I'm picturing like a clip, like a girl's hair clip, the clip, like just clips, like, and they all have frequencies, or maybe like a needle, like a acupuncture needle. Hey, Meyer, good to see you. You guys have been very helpful. We likes and shares. I always think, I talk to my bird. I got my bird, my little parakeet named Chip. I tell you, if you need to see what love looks like, I can go open it up with that bird right now. Because he's my handsome boy. He's so handsome. And he's like, I'm so handsome. And my bird, I'm talking about my bird, my parakeet. Yeah, we talk back. We communicate. Music's a great way to communicate. It can say things that this song speaks for me. Listen to this song. Don't you feel that way too? You've been to a concert and it's a moment. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining. All new stickers in the first tier subscription. Look out for my Patreon as well. A concert during the movie Pink Floyd, which a lot of people have seen. They're playing on stage when the guy, Pink, the singer of the band, Pink, and the whole crowd's just it's mass hypnosis on a accepting source information and higher self code to everyone. It's like receiving a download on a group level when we're at an experience like that. If you've been to a concert like that, it's like a real wow factor. It doesn't always happen. You don't always get those experiences, but when it happens, there's no words, absolutely no words. Music can do it. Mozart follows this pattern. They have done things in the shape of your brain, programming the way you think. So Mozart does make you smarter when you listen to it. Can we get very specific? Acupuncture. Can I affect one part of my body through the other? Yeah, absolutely, right? We know this. And through our mind is so powerful. So if we can integrate our physical bodies and is a practice of this form of communication as well. So we can integrate our body into the music or the frequency using our body. Breath work, yoga is so imperative. Yoga gets so deep and advanced and crazy, bro. Go look at some real yogis sucking in their stomach and drinking a towel. You know, it is that spine. You got to crack that egg. Think of your spine like a glow stick, okay? And that Kundalini awakening, I'm pretty sure it's like people be running around saying, I had my Kundalini awakening in the dark night of the soul, and I'm transformed, and now I'm woke as ever. Maybe they don't. It's like a kid. If you give them a glow stick, they're going to be like running around, yeah, I got to go do. What's it? Is it a glow stick? I got a glow stick. Look at me. I got a glow stick. And then you're like, hey, let me see that. And you go, and it starts glowing. They're like, oh, I didn't know this was, oh, wow, right? So maybe it's like you really have to crack your spine. Office jobs have been part of the plan for a long time. Keep us sitting down. But that spine and back exercise, yeah, I think it helps a lot. You know, we were all getting on the grounding kick this summer. I really got into it when we were doing lives together. I'd be in my yard, and I'm very grateful and blessed to be staying where I am at my house. It's like, I rent, but it's a beautiful place. And just rolling on the ground out there, feeling at peace, not feeling outcast, like people driving by. No, I felt so safe in the environments with you guys. It felt home, like at home. Not a good field trip anyway. What goes in? What goes out? Which way is this picture looking? Yeah, Lou, I understand that. Yeah, I think it's progressive, absolutely. We're hesitant, you know, obviously, naturally, I think, you know, we talk about programming and trauma and dealing with that and reversing it. Our beings ourselves, like, there is whatever it is, comes out as almost fear when we're young or a puppy. It's like, we don't know what to do. And maybe it's not the fear that exists. Maybe it's the not having the information, because we have a longing to know an idea or what to do. When I had an idea earlier, I was going to do this live, right? And you know what? I'll start doing it right now, because no time like the present. And then I can have something to show you that. So I have this live going on right now on my tablet. Well, I set this up. It'd be a good time to remind everybody, Eddie O, getting off the world here. I haven't had a cell phone bill in a year. I've had cell phone bills. I didn't pay it 1 month. I'm like, I'm a little behind. I'm going to wait. I have Wi-Fi at home, Wi-Fi at work. And then a month went by, and I'm like, and another month went by. So, T-Mobile's $80 a month. I'm online all the time. I have multiple apps with multiple phone numbers. If you guys want to call them. Nothing has changed. Not one thing has changed. So we talk about making a difference and not being part of the system. And the only way is not to play just wanted to throw that out there, that I found a little something that happened to me. So, anywho, hullabaloo. What a hullabaloo. A hullabaloo. So I can angle this over. My idea was to, one moment. I really do want to take the time to thank you guys for being here and watching this live. I do these lives here on TikTok and then post them on YouTube. So a lot of times I don't open up a panel and I seem a little not interacting with the comments so much, but I definitely see you down and do appreciate you guys. And if you're new here, welcome. My name's Eddie O, and I do these Ed Talks on different categories. And I hope you enjoy. We're talking about frequency and waves, vibration and sound. So what gets through to us in our eye, perception creates reality. The eye is like a camera, right? If your eye is like a camera, the lens is curved outward. The opposite would be a projector. A projector also has a lens, but it goes out. So if we have feelings and response to what's happening in the shape of feelings, right? Because everything really boils down to how you feel. Well, I had to do this, this, and this. And then, yeah, you know, it causes feelings. And if you're natural and authentic with yourself, feelings can be very uncomfortable. That's why people turn to different methods to change their feelings. Sometimes they're drastic, sometimes very detrimental, damaging ways to change their emotional vibration to themselves, which can happen to all of us. So can we have an intention, feeling a reality inside of us and project that and project our reality around us? Absolutely. I think the trick is to hold on to an excitement, a feeling of something you want. So that feeling, when you're excited about it, is the feeling when you get it. It's that same feeling. That feeling when you wanted it, and oh wow, is the same feeling as receiving it. You've already received it. You've already understood the gratification process. Now, the meantime, actively observing and holding on to that feeling and giving the universe some time to catch up with you, and it will have no choice. The universe has no choice but to show and represent and match your frequency and your vibration. Yes, I think you understand. So did old-time magicians and spellcasters and, you know, the harpies, the sirens, I'm trying to say, the sirens out in the sea that would call young men to them, right? With their song. How does it go? Music is a sexy thing, man. Music is very sexy. There's nothing like it. A poem is one thing, man. A poem is very high school, man. I'm 45. I haven't read a girl poem in a minute. But I tell you, if we were in 8th grade and I had the feelings for you, you were getting a poem. Like 3 girls, and you got definitely getting poems. And I was singing for a band for a long time. Communion was the name of my band in high school. We did very good in New England. We were an alternative band in the 90s. Opened up for some big players, played with Incubus. We opened for God Lives Underwater, played local bazooka. We did very well for young kids. At 17 years old, had an album pressed, and we were killing it in the game, baby. So I had to write lyrics for that too, and prose, and meter and time. I had a rhyming dictionary, you know. Went with the Jim Morrison stanza. In the 90s, though, a lot of freedom with the lyrics. You could just basically rhyme. But do words communicate the same thing as the frequencies? So frequencies opening some parts of you to receiving energy. Maybe that's what it is. The combination of frequencies together, through combinations of different frequencies in any form, right? Light, sound. What's the most translatable to us? Feelings. I don't know. What are you receptive to, I guess would be, if you're receptive to a certain type or shape of frequency. Would words match that. Now, of course, not what words just get in the way. Maybe they're the right words. You didn't say the right words. Did she say them? I wish the Goblin King would come take you away right now. Toby? And perfect fourth, perfect fifth if you know music theory. If you'd like to learn music theory and you have any questions, if you want to take some time, I can explain it in a great way. I have a knack for explaining things because I will know when you don't understand what I'm saying. But musical geometry, as it says up top there, is shape within a shape, and it all fits within itself. 1 through 7 or 1 through 12, then 8's the octave, 8's the magic number, not 7's not the lucky number, 8 is the door up top, and 13 is the ascension number as well. The octave is the ascension, the octave is the higher dimension, in a slightly metaphoric way. Were there ways that, these churches would be an environment, you'd go in here, they talk about healing, vibrations, and were these built for us? Were they built for a different race, a taller, bigger race of beings, like humanoid beings also, because why do they look like humans too? Because we all follow this same pattern of the integration of the golden spiral, that ratio, our fingers, our toes, the expansion of our cells, having the spine. It's this design. So anything we look at is you. You're always looking at it, but, as Alan Watts has a great why square? Why is this square? Why is the TV square? Why is this carpet square? Why is that door square? Nothing in nature is square. It's awfully wiggly at that. The water wiggles. The branches on the trees wiggle. The leaves on those branches wiggle. The wiggling worm, the snake, the birds even wiggle. The wind wiggles. Nothing's square. But your perception will create your reality, because what's coming in, you are what you eat, so to say, will be an explanation of what will come out as, if you're not aware of it, and you're not observing yourself, you'll be submitting to outside frequency, right? An outside use of you in some pattern way, and you'll be forcibly complacent with it somehow, and probably unsatisfied in the long run somehow, or have a feeling of unfulfillment. This ain't right. Something feels off. Why is the world like this? Because, and I guess I'll just do what I have, and the happiness never comes because you're just looking for solutions to imaginary problems. So if these problems are fake and put upon you, like square TVs, and your perception creates reality, meaning this environment is fake, so we're feeling feelings that don't exist once they're in response to them. If you're feeling and communicating, analyzing those feelings with your conscious mind, body, spirit. So if you're looking at your feelings and be like, why do I feel that? And you can't explain it because there's no explanation, because it wasn't real. But you think it is because we're integrating our consciousness, our mind, to program ourselves just out loud, thinking we know what we're doing. So we practice ourselves. We have discipline to ourselves as much as we can do. Our diets, our food, our temple is so important. You are every model. Any spiritual book, any teaching is you. Anything beyond talking about you as a temple is your imagination. I think it's something in the Bible. One of the apostles was talking to somebody that was hurting himself, and the guy was like drinking or something. He was just all it's a mess, hot mess, like I was, I guess. He said, oh, you didn't know. You didn't know that your body is the Christ. It's like you are the Christ, and your imagination is thy will be done, thy kingdom come. It's you. It's like he's not somebody else. It's like it's you. It's all a map and a formula for you and how your imagination met, and that creativity and, King Dome. This building we're looking at has a rounded ceiling. It's a vaulted ceiling. We're said to live in a vaulted world, right? We have a dome over us, and it's vaulted. It is vaulted. Our skull, our head is vaulted, the dome. Now that's phrase. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy is not you. When I'm saying thy kingdom come, I'm not talking to God, but people I think imagine they are. So I thought when I was younger, before I came to the realization, thy, and was explained to me. I'm saying me, I. Thy is I. My kingdom come. My I, yeah, not, that's what thy sounds like, right? So that sells you on it, but it's true. Thy kingdom come. Talking about me, baby. I'm loving it. Thy will be done. My reality will come to me. My kingdom come, which is the imagination. I'm king, dome. The word kingdom, two parts. King, I am king, Christ the king. Dome, and it comes from inside my mind, where my vaulted ceiling and my enclosed system resides. Right? Love your brain. Tell your water you love it. Tell your brain you love it too. It's a beautiful thing. Part of your body, you know. And my exploring and research has shown me definitely that this sound was everywhere. These frequencies are everywhere. We have these circles on the front of these machine buildings. Just taking some time and just breathe this in for a moment. Good time for a little breathing in for full. Oh, thank you, Arya. I've learned to love my brain too. It's on my side. We get along pretty good. Do the breath work with yourself. That's one thing, you know. It's like when you have your brain and yourself, your inner dialogue, your voice within yourself, your conversation within yourself. We talk to our spirit guides now, like out loud, right? How do I meet with my spirit guides? People always say. And I've heard the great teachers here on TikTok respond. Talk to them. Acknowledge them. Say it's okay. Say you're not scaring them either. It's so real, you know. Yes, you are, James. Say I love you to your water and mean it. Even if you don't mean it, just keep saying it. Like affirmations, you know. Like if you keep doing it for a while, some of the stuff just works. It wouldn't be recommended over and over to you. It's stuff you can do yourself if it didn't. So these windows are called magnetrons. When I look at these magnetrons, which are beautiful representations, right? Pretty balanced. Sacred geometry comes out at you. But, you know, I've been a musician for a long time. And, you know, when you get to be into higher end studios and start dealing with better recording equipment, you have higher standards, you know, what you're listening to. You know, I definitely have a good ear, I would say, for myself, and I've been told by music teachers in the past, God, you have a good ear. I think when I grew up playing trombone, it's a lot of adjustment, right? So if I'm out of tune, I'm playing the trombone. As a little kid in 4th grade doing like, I don't even know why I'm holding this thing. I thought it was funny. I ended up doing it for a long time. It took me to a lot of great places. I met a lot of great people as well. But I could just change it a little bit, and it would, you know what I mean? I would adjust to make it a little, you know, so I learned to adjust. So these things, I imagine these buildings had to be like in tune to that world that we live in. And when I see this, I think of a studio monitor speaker. That's the speaker. That's the cone of the speaker. In the enclosure, the cabinet, the speaker cabinet, imagine all these buildings, these machines, I don't even know what to call them. I don't even know what to call them. These speakers, these subwoofers of the earth, right? And they go into the MF earth, right? They go downtown, baby. Underground subwoofer. Earth, God, love. And whatever feeling you felt in there, maybe, would get projected out of this speaker. Well, perhaps, who knows? There's no limit to anything, I suppose. The shape and the geometry of this, I think it's so common. It's not a work of art. It's part of the Lego set. It comes with every set and every design. You know, the beautiful is off the charts, but it very much resembles a speaker. So how does this all work? I am going to do my best. Get on video here. How vortex math works. Because I never had a good explanation. I still don't, but I've got some insight I'd like to share on vortex math, because everybody knows the name of the stuff, but nobody really has like a, I was like, yeah, 369, baby, Tesla. And I heard somebody actually say, it's like, well, you want to write it down 3 times in the morning, write it down 3 times in the afternoon, write it 9 times down at night. Bada bing, bada chicken wing. I think that's great. But I'd like to add to that if I could. So we can get all high tech here, and I'm actually going to try and turn it. So we can get all high tech here, and I'm actually going to try and turn the camera on back and use a pen and some paper. See how this works. Thank you again for being here, everybody. We really appreciate it. If you don't mind, if you could take some time and tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. All right, I gotta figure this out so I can fit myself in the world. All right. It's more important. It's like, yeah, this will work. Some pretty high-tech stuff. All right, got 9 people in the room. Well, way it's gonna. All right, so if we like this. All right, so vortex math. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. 369. 369. Vortex. Very good word. Hello. So we have numbers down at the bottom. 1 to 5. To 7. To 8. To 4. And to 2. And then just like in music, do an octave thing right here. Not really like in music at all, forget that. To 1, and we connect that. Now, we have left 3, 6, and 9, right? You know what, there's no budget on this show, hold on. Now, I really enjoyed learning this. I hope you do too. I'm not sure how much it'll change, but I find it opening of a door. So what we're going to do is we're going to take number 1, and we're going to keep doubling it, right? So 1, 2, 4, and so forth, and we could do it forever, okay? Let's see where this goes. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. I'm going to need the chat's help soon. All right, 32. 64, slowing down. What, 128? That sound right?